please feel free to introduce yourself and take it away. I am going to highlight you or your spotlight you as the video.
All right. So hopefully you can hear me. And I unmuted my mic and did the good like Zoom things, right? It's been a quick minute since I was on Zoom full time, so bear with me. But like Kate said, my name's Angela and I am a Ballet for Figure Skaters certified teacher. I did my first class with Annette Thomas, oh my gosh, back in like 2018. Then have done two kind of subsequent classes and kind of created some curriculum with her as like a team kind of the teachers in her group. So it's something that I really enjoy teaching. I'm really passionate about dance and then just kind of how we can take that and make it most applicable for our skaters. I'm sure that you guys as coaches, maybe possibly parents, adult athletes yourself, like we don't have infinite time. I wish we did, right? So like going to a class and not necessarily getting to the essence of what we need, it sometimes feels a little not wasteful. Of course, you're learning something any class you step into, but if that class was really catered towards you, wouldn't that be great? And that's kind of what we wanted to get at the heart of with kind of creating all of these things and taking what we needed from typical Vaganova ballet and making it for our skaters in mind, in body, everything. Okay. So just a little bit about me. I'm a middle school PE teacher. So I am used to talking to 11 to 13-year-olds for a living. They don't think I'm funny and they make fun of me. So if you laugh at my jokes, you get extra credit. I'm totally kidding. But please laugh. Anyway, yeah, I'm totally not used to them giving good feedback. So I love when I teach adults and I do get feedback and questions. So at any point, if you're confused or something like that, please feel free to chat it or just unmute and ask questions as we're going along. Okay. We're going to do a little mix today. We have a skates on curriculum that we do roll out. I don't know, maybe there was some question about how it was advertised as skates on or not. You do not have to have your skates on. I will present it about things that you should be looking for and things that you'll be feeling when you have your skates on. I was just telling Kate, like I've been teaching all day. So at 7:30, my skates were not going back on my feet to demonstrate. And I do want you to see a little bit more articulation in the feet and ankle. So I don't want to put my skates on for this one. Okay. So I will discuss it and give that option. If people do want to put their skates on, feel free. I do think you should feel this before you go ahead and teach it because it is a little jarring the first time that you do it, right? Skates are really heavy when you're just trying to lift them and not glide on the blades. So, okay, let's get into this. I'm going to move my camera, get down on the floor, and let's get a little warm up going. I'm gonna try to find like the best way to see you guys and myself, but I don't think I'll be able to see everyone. So that's why you'll probably just have to unmute if you need me for anything. Okay, let's move. All of our stuff. Okay. I'm gonna go here. All right. That seems like you can see at least a majority of me. We're gonna start with a little bit about talking about articulating our feet and what pointing is and what flexing is and why we need to understand opposites. And we're gonna do that actually non-weight bearing. So we're gonna start in what we call 90-degree position. So if we're talking 90-degree position, or you can call it L for like your younger students, right? Your hip to your leg and torso is making a 90-degree angle, okay? Most common correction that you're gonna have to make in 90-degree position is the head is gonna start to come forward and the shoulders are gonna slump the longer they sit here. So remembering and reinforcing that you can rock and roll on your sits bones, which are those bony parts of your pelvis that are touching the ground. That's a great reminder because we start to come off our sits bones as we get tired, right? And I'm sure you guys are seeing a lot of forward head, a lot of these days. With that great reminder of 90-degree position. We're gonna take 90 and we're gonna pretend that we flipped the room. So our feet are gonna be on the ceiling for our first exercise. I might have to move back because I'm a little bit of the long leg. So we're here. Our first exercise, you're gonna tip the room and you're gonna take your 90-degree position to the floor, okay? Here, also reminding them that that's not 90, okay? They might need a visual. If you have a mirror, this is fantastic to do with the mirror. I'm allowing them to look at their feet. They need some visual cues for what parallel is, what turned out is, and how to pull up on their knees to keep them straight. So reminding them that quad activation is going to keep their legs straight is super important here. So I'm going. We're going to do this with music. We'll talk through it first. We're going to flex, 1, 2. We're going to point, 3, 4. So reminding them to stretch the ankles first, to point the toes second. 5, 6, 7, 8. If they've started doing weird things, remind them they're looking at their feet. So you gotta get on in alignment with your leg. Turn out, flex, 1 and 2, squeeze your heels together, point, press away the ceiling. 5 and 6, go and hold them together if you have to. 7 and 8, circles, parallel and flex and turn out and point again, ba, 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 ba. Then we'll reverse the circle, okay? So we're gonna start to feel the opposition between the turnout and the parallel. If you put your hands right here, you'll feel it. And then reminding them, stretch the ankles, point the toes to push that ceiling away, okay? And of course, I left my phone over there for the music. Give me 1 second. Oh. Alrighty. I'm gonna hopefully put this an appropriate distance away where it's not blasting for you. I'm sorry. I also realized that I probably should not have started my dishwasher. Is that really annoying? I'm sorry if it is. I told you it's been a quick minute since I taught on the Zoom.
I can't hear the dishwasher.
Oh, good. Okay. I realized that just a little too late. Here we go. Alrighty. We are going on our back. We're taking that 90-degree position. We're flipping the room. And I will try to cue you through it. Ready? Oops. Let me turn this up a little. There we go. On our back, here we go. We're flexing first. Flex and hold it there. Now point, push the ceiling away. Again, flex, hold it there. Keep those feet in parallel until you turn out. Flex, squeeze the knees together. Point to your 90 degrees and flex hard. Stretch your ankles, reach your toes. Now we circle. Parallel and hold. Flex and hold. Turn out and hold. Point and hold. Again. Parallel and hold. Flex and hold. Turn out and hold. Reverse your circle. Flex hard. Parallel. Feel it in your hips. Point. Turn out 1 more. Flex and hold. Parallel and hold. Point and turn out and hold. Finish. All right. Alrighty. So let's talk about that really quick. Turn that up. There we go. So a couple things that you should be feeling. Number 1, that you are working quite hard in the quads to pull up the knees, right? If they're having a really hard time with that without any weight, it's probably going to be hard once we add standing, okay? And then even harder when the leg is in the air. So that's something that I like to do even at my highest levels as like a body warm up, okay? I tell them all the time, if I want you to be warm, you can go jog around. Like, I don't need to watch you do that. That can be like a pre-class exercise. This is a very specific warm up to what I need your body to look and feel like during class. So I do remind them that even at the highest levels, these things are important. And they need to see it. Like, we are not to the point with a lot of our athletes that they can feel it. They need to see it. They're not aware that their toes are falling in. Okay. So give them an opportunity to look at their feet, look at their legs, and figure out what correct feels like and what incorrect feels like. Okay. I like to go slow. I am a very one and hold on to person because I like to take the time to see all of my students and make those corrections. Yes, there's a place and time for quickness. And when we get to higher level combinations, we'll have to quicken things up. But for right now, especially when you're first teaching these things and cueing them, give yourself that time and give them that time. Like they need it. Okay. We're going to now go to a traditional 90-degree position, not one where we're flipped on our back. So we're going to sit up. I'm going to talk you through this whole pattern first, and then we'll do it again with the music. So I'm turning sideways so that you can see me. We begin a lot of dance classes with rolling through our spine and articulating. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're sitting in this 90-degree position, reminding ourselves that our head needs to be up. Side note, you can always put your students against the wall if they have a hard time with this, so that they have that feel of getting the head to the wall. We roll down for 4 counts, chin to chest, and 2, and 3, down on 4, roll up 5, and a 6, and a 7. You can open your chest if you would like to here, or just get to that 90-degree position. What feels good to you, okay? We do that 4 times. Roll down, roll up, 4 times total. Now, we're gonna do our flex and our point in our seat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Turn out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exactly the same combination we just did with our circles. Okay. After we're done with our circles.
Are you able to back up a little bit? We can't see your feet.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Is that better? Now can you see my feet?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, please tell me, because I can't always see my full self either in the screen and talk. I'm gonna start with my right foot, because typical ballet, we have our left hand on our bar, so left is our supporting side. So my right foot is gonna retire, okay, which is sliding up in turnout, okay. So right now, my knee, I'm turned out. This would be my parallel. We're gonna go there in just a second. I slide up retire. I go to parallel so they can feel those oppositional forces. Turn out again. And down. Left foot, retire. And parallel. And turn out. And down. Watch for this, right? They wanna bring these feet up so close to them. No, keep your 90-degree position. We do both feet. And parallel. And turn out, and down. We do that twice because it's an 8 count. 5, and a 6, and a 7, and an 8. Okay. You can either keep the hands there, or I like to go second position for my first repetition. Then I float them up to third for my second repetition. So I'm going to do this 2 times. Right leg first, left leg second, both legs with the arms in second, then float them up to third. Second position cues that I give them, I should be looking at that point of your elbow. My wrists should be lower than my shoulders, right? If you had a raindrop and it started coming from your ear, down your shoulder, through your elbow, off your hand. If they're here, the raindrop will never go anywhere, right? We need to round that. Then when I'm up in my third, I'm making my circle. My head is dead center. I do have elbows, and I need to keep my middle fingers together. The acceptable amount of space is the width of your nose, right? So I do tell them all the time, wow, you have a really big nose, and then they don't laugh. Kids don't think I'm funny. But anyway, and we're gonna do all of that together. I'll stay with you for this one as well. Does this turn to the side work for you, or would you rather me be facing you directly front?
I think facing is easier.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Facing is easier.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, right here. I'll switch it up and do different views throughout class. What music did I pick for you guys? Oh, perfect. Great, great, great. Facing is great. I do allow my students to sit on yoga mats. It helps a little bit with alignment at times. If they put the yoga mat down in alignment. But anyway, I do tell them that they need to be able to slide their feet on the floor. So sometimes I make them sit sideways on the yoga mat for these retiers. Here we go. We're rolling through our spine. 1, 3, and 4, sitting up. Finding that head right on top of the spine and go back down. 7 and 8, 2 more. Chin, knee, chest, go down. Feel your vertebrae up. 6, 7 and 8, and again. Last time. 5 and 6 and 7. Flex your feet. 1, hold, point. You can go here to reinforce that 90-degree position. If you're starting to lose it, flex hard. Point. Squeeze your feet together, please. Flex hard. You might need to help them with that, right? Parallel. Flex. Turn out and point. Parallel. Flex. Turn out and reverse. Point. Turn out and a flex and a parallel. Point. Turn out. Now when you run to your right, place the foot on the floor. See the difference between parallel and turn out. My knees open. Now it's straight. Now it's open. Squeeze. Don't lose your position. 1. Parallel. And turn out. And squeeze. All the way. And 1. Parallel. Use those inner thighs. Float the arms up. 1 leg. Parallel. And turn out. Squeeze. Lift that heel as you slide it up. Are you still on your sits bones? I hope so. And in. Parallel. And turn out. Down. Out. Parallel. Out. And nice forward fold. Just stretch it over to finish. Enjoy that stretch. Whew. Good job, everyone. All right, so let's talk about it. So again, a couple points of emphasis. As I'm bringing this retire up, I'm keeping this foot pointed, okay? This is helping to develop all of these muscles on the outside of the leg, which are not things that we hit typically, but it's very important because if you can't lift the heel with nothing on your foot, your skate is heavier, okay? So we need to start developing these muscles on the outside. So really working that foot. We're gonna do some coupe work later. It's gonna develop that same muscle set. Then when I'm in parallel, I get to rest that foot. So I feel that opposition. I give that muscle a rest. Now I engage it again. Sometimes when you back off something and then you put the pressure back on, you can feel what's actually working, okay? That's why I really like doing oppositional work, especially this retire. You can see this is turned out. Now you can see that your knee is facing the ceiling. Now you can see it's turned out again. I love teaching in front of the mirror. I love having them face the mirror. I know there's mixed opinions on that, but I just think for them, again, like they're not going to be able to feel it right away. They need to see it. Don't fight that, get it correct, and then teach what correct feels like, okay? All right, moving on. We're gonna go to our tendus. We're gonna do seated tendus. I do this with a yoga block as just something that I have to avoid. So if you want to grab anything that's about the height of a yoga block, and our goal is going to be to not kick it. So any household item that you feel, okay? Or you can just do it imaginary, but it's kind of fun to not kick the item, right? So I will pick, let's see. I have a candle. We're gonna use my candle as my yoga block because that just seems like fun today, right? I'm also gonna take these off so that we can see our feet a little bit better. So I'm going to be right here. For our tendus, we're gonna start talking about where we need to place our head. A couple reasons for this. As we know, putting our head in the right spot isn't gonna make us land a jump or spin a spin, but it can make us fall or the spin not start, right? Like we can't stick this head incredibly to the left on the entry of the camel and expect for it to start spinning, right? We can't look totally around the curve on the entrance to the double axel. It's probably not going to go up the way that we want it to. So we need to start training that. Also, we have muscles that live in planes, right? So we have fascia that connects our muscles. Turning your head towards and away from different movements stretches that fascia, and that's important for us as well. So I'm sitting here again in my 90-degree position. This can be against the wall if you need to. I put all my little guys against the wall, and then it's like a really big thing for them to like work to get off the wall. Like it gives them a nice motivator and a nice goal to get into the center and to get stronger. So I'm right here. I like to go through my preparation into my second. I'm starting with a tendu to the front, and I'm gonna look towards that leg. So if my right leg is working, 1 and 2, flex hard and point and center. Other foot goes turn, flex hard. I have 1 pointed, 1 flex. This is very hard for your students. Point and down. They will say that they have 1 pointed and 1 flex, and they're going to do this to you, okay? It's very hard for them to work in 1 and 1. They will also tell you that their head is turned. No, it's not. Your eyes are turned. Turn your head. Turn your head, okay? Proprioception is very weird. Ask them to do something they're really good at the ice, on the ice, looking in a different direction, and they're going to all of a sudden become very bad at it. It's very funny. Now we do the exact same thing looking away from our leg. I look away from my working leg and a point and a down. Look away from my working leg and a point and a down. Now I have my object, okay, a couple inches from me. I'm going to go. Same retire we just used. Retire to the base of my calf. It's not too high. Retire, don't kick my object, and lower and down. Retire, don't kick my object, and lower and down. And I haven't lost this, right? Everything is still up. Then I have tendu, rondé-jambe, hold it there, and lower and up to the middle. Hold it there, lower and change. If you have 2 objects, you can just use 2, okay? 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bada, bada. Cool. Try to elongate out of the hips and not squeeze and use the hip flexors so much. We want to elongate to start our tendu, okay? Let's do it. Whoops. Now is where the students will be making fun of me. Why can't you ever find your music? You're so bad at technology. Yes, you know, I'm old. It's okay. Here we go. I open my arms through first to second. I'm gonna lift and look towards my leg first, flexing hard, keeping the other one pointed and center. Remembering that I'm in 90-degree position, down, turning my head fully, Now I'm gonna look away from my leg. Talk to them about this coordination. It's really hard. You're not gonna get it on the first try. Flex hard. Point hard. And down. Now I have my retire. And don't kick my object. Lower it. This needs to be turned out. There's my angle. Lift through your lower leg down. And now I lift and up. Roundation. Show me second position. Hold or side position. I'm so sorry. Down. And lift. Lead with your heel to the front to stay turned out. Lower it. Switch your object. Here you go. Other side. And 1. And on 2. 3. 4. This sets your angle for your leg to come off the floor. And down. You have lift. Show me what side is to you. Hold. Down. Lift. Front. Lead with that heel to keep it turned out. And lower. Shake it out. Okay. Very nice, everybody. Perfect, perfect. Okay. Let's talk about that really quick. So, retire is really important. The coupe position, that's gonna set our angle for our leg when it leaves the floor, okay? So if I'm not committing to turning out on this retire and I'm here, I'm not gonna instantly find turnout when my leg comes off the floor. So you do have to remind them that that's a really important piece when you're working through all of this, okay? Think about the size of your students. That was without your skates on. My legs are burning, okay? So, and I like to think of myself as in decently good shape, right? They're not doing this every day. Don't expect them to be able to do a 3-minute piece or a 60-minute class. So when you're kind of figuring this out and using it, look at the size and strength of your students. Also, don't be afraid to vary your class. I have some students that are doing the entire 60 minutes in their skates. Some are doing the first pattern. Again, we don't have the liberty of teaching, at least I don't have 5 sections of ballet, I have 2. So I have to differentiate instruction within those 2 classes and just figuring out ways to talk about that. Like, it's not a punishment if I ask you to dial something back. It's that I really, really want it to be correct because we'll see more progress in the long run, right? But that's like sometimes the difficult conversation to have with kids. But I think it's important. So unless you can teach 5 classes, which is fantastic, I just don't have that right now. But anyway, are our legs like working? Do we feel them? I was contemplating making you do more repetitions, and then I thought that might be cruel. So I want you to get enough of a workout, but not one where you're yelling at me, right? I have a couple of adults that take my class, and they are much older adults. They're in their 60s and 70s, which is fantastic that they're moving as much as they are, and they're committing to this class. But it's very funny. I have one student that she tells me all the time, oh, in my head, the things that I'm saying about you. So she kind of makes me laugh all the time. I'm like, how am I going to torture Miss Sophie today? But she does love it at the end of the day. One of my adult students is my mother. She's on her ballet journey as a almost 65-year-old, so that's pretty cool. She has a bar and everything. She practices. Crazy. But she wouldn't let me borrow her bar for class today. Thumbs down, Mom. Anyway, she actually might watch this. Sorry if you watch this, Mom. Anyway, we are moving on. We're gonna now talk about activating our push because we just worked on elongating. We worked on pushing the floor away. We worked on turning in and turning out. Now let's apply this. We do have to stand up to apply this. This is another one that I would do typically with a yoga block, but if you don't have one to stand on today, just give this a try later. I don't have mine here anyway, so it's not a big deal. But we're gonna work on completing our push, which I think applies to so many of us on the ice for many different reasons. I'm gonna bring us over to here to use my lovely makeshift bar, my chair. You only need to really see my lower body for this, so here we go. We're gonna talk about getting to our highest half point, okay? So in my highest half point, my weight is on this big bone underneath my big toe, and then 85%, and then incrementally moving down. I actually, when I get all the way up over my toe, I don't have weight on my pinky toe. Okay, I can actually wiggle my pinky toe on my highest relevant. So just remember that that's your goal there. I am going to go to 2 hands on my bar. I'm gonna start with 1 foot in that turned out coupe to the back. So we just did this on the floor. We just slid into this retire on the floor. There it is. My toes are pointing down and away. Do you like this? Do you like that foot? Would you take that on laps with you? No, right? So we're pointing our toes down and away. So we have to lift that ankle up and away off of our supporting leg, okay? So from here, I'm keeping my coupe. I'm going to rise up 1 and 2, hold 3, down on 4. 1 and 2, hold on 3, down on 4. Up 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll do 2 8 counts on our left foot. We'll switch right away, do 2 8 counts on our right foot, just to kind of activate that push and getting up over where we're supposed to be on our foot.
I have a question, Angela.
Yes.
So if we have our yoga block, we would just do this whole flow on our yoga block.
I didn't explain that well. Yes, you would. You would put your foot slightly back on your yoga block so that your entire big toe can be on when you make your push. Yes, great.
Okay.
question. So sorry about that. What music did I pick? Oh, there it is.
Thank you.
Yeah, please, like, ask questions when I leave, you know, important things out like that. Here we go. We push up and down. Again, push and down. 2 more. Up and push up. And switch your feet. Give an 8 count to rest. 3 and 4. 5 and 6. Keeping this supporting leg straight. Push. 2, 3 down on 4. Push 5. 7 down 8. Push on 1. 2 and 3 down on 4. Push 5. 7, 8. Good. Rest there for a second. Okay. We want them pushing through a completely straight leg, okay? Yes, there is a lot of value to a plie to a releve, but we're talking a little bit higher level concepts here where we're keeping this leg straight. We're squeezing up underneath our butt. So my glute, hamstring, where that meets, okay? Like your shelf up underneath your butt. If you need to like put your hand there and feel that glute hamstring activation at the top and come back down, do it, okay? I teach middle school. I remind them so many times a day to have their hands to themselves. So I do have to say, touch your butt, not anyone else's butt, okay? But you do sometimes need to touch your body to understand what the heck is going on here, okay? So I'm right there, I'm squeezing. That's what's gonna keep my supporting side strong. I need to squeeze this. I can't at the top just decide I'm going to loosen, okay? So that's gonna help them push up on that nice straight leg. So now, part 2. And of course, put all of these things together in combinations if they're ready for it. So I'm going now, I just finished my last elevate, we'll say. I'm gonna actually put my foot down on the floor. So if I'm on the yoga block, my toes are gonna touch a little less. If I'm not, I'm right here. I can go to parallel for this. I'm gonna slide out 1 and a 2. I'm in 90-90. If you do any sort of weightlifting or calisthenic work for walking lunges, like 90-90 is a huge cue. I'm in triple flexion. My hip is flexed, my knees are flexed, my ankles are flexed. Triple flexion leads to triple extension. So I slide back. This is a stretch. That's not power. This is power. 1 and a 2. I'm gonna spring up. 3 and a 4. Don't kick your chair like I did. 5 and a 6. Down on 7 to reset 8. Yes? Oh, I can turn it sideways. Oh, I'll still kick it. Down 1 and a 2. Push up. 3 and a 4. Hold it 5, hold it 6, hold it 7. We'll do 4 on our left. Then we'll switch. We'll do 4 on our right. Okay? So we're taking the concepts of going from flexion to pointing or extension and activating our entire leg, including our glute hamstring complex to get up. Okay? Same music. Also, please take a break and get water at any point if you need it. Here we go. Slide down and up. Hold. And down. 3 more. Down. 4, 2, and spring. 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more. Down. 4, 2, and big push up. Trying not to pull your bar with you. Hello. Into 1, 2, and big push up. 5 and 6 and 7. Rest. 1 each count to rest. Then we're going to go on our right foot. 7, 8. Here we go. 4, 2, and push. 5, 6, 7. Here we go. 1, 2, and complete that push. 5, 6, 7, 8. Down. Up. 5 and 6, 7. Last one. 1 and 2. Big push. 5, 6, 7. Rest. Good job. Very nice. Okay, let's talk about it. That was pretty good. Were you feeling that, hopefully? And you're like, I was completing my push. Yeah, it is very challenging with the yoga blocks because you have some amount of instability. Obviously, gauge the level of your students and go from there. But what I do also think when I'm talking to them about all of these things is you need to make connections for them. We cannot assume that they understand what that is good for, okay? And if they understand what that's good for, they're probably gonna be more willing to work on it, right? So completing the push, very obvious connection for jumps, but just anything else like step sequences, flexion and extension through your skate, like we're chaining turns together, we have to have clusters of turns. So getting used to that really good up, down, and dynamic movement is important for everything, right? So make those connections. Don't assume that they will. Give them a why, okay? I tell them all the time, like, if your coach just told you to take ballet, like, that should not be your why. Like, you should want to get stronger. You should understand that there's some deficit that you're trying to make up in your skating or your artistry, or you just really like it and you want to understand it more. I was that person. I loved ballet and I wanted to understand it. And that's why I went and got a dance major after I finished with, you know, taking ballet and competing and skating. And it just kind of worked out that way. Not all kids are going to be that intrinsically motivated. Their goal might be to do a double axel. Their goal might be to skate in an ice show, you know, do showcase, do theater. It's going to help no matter what your goal is. I don't think any coach has ever said, don't worry, like you're too strong, take some time off, like let everyone else catch up, right? I don't think that as coaches or adult athletes will ever hear that, right? So Who, while we're taking a little brain break here, I'm trying to like see everybody. I don't know how to do that, but I'm trying to see.
It's
everybody.
because you're on the spotlight. I can unspotlight
Can
you.
you unspotlight me? Can I see my friends for like 1 second? Okay, fantastic. Can you guys just like show of hands really quick, like show who is a coach? Okay, beautiful. Who is an adult skater themselves or an adult athlete? Fantastic. Okay, cool. I just like to like know what my clientele of the class is so I can kind of cater to what you guys need, right? Okay, cool. Kate, do you want to put it back to the other view?
Sure.
So I don't cut my feet off what they need to see. Okay, fantastic. How was our break? We doing okay? Okay, fantastic. I'm not gonna lie, I did like a really intense workout yesterday, and I probably shouldn't have done that knowing that I was gonna teach all day and then teach this class, but I like underestimated it. Has anyone ever gone water walking? Okay, I underestimated the water walking. I was like, okay, this is gonna be fine. And then I went on this lazy river, like water walk for an hour yesterday, and my legs are screaming at me. So now that we've had our little break and my legs have recovered from completing our push, we're gonna move on. And of course I need to be standing. Here we are. So we're going back to our makeshift bar. So I'm gonna put you back here, which makes a lot of sense why I put these things together. We're using our bar again. When I talk about 2 hands on the bar, I talk about the bar for alignment and not for balance, okay? I'm making sure that I'm always keeping an equal distance between myself and the bar during all of our exercises. So if you place your hands on the bar, you should be able to see that your elbows are facing down. I can't see that my elbows are facing down right now. I've lost my elbows. And if I'm here, I don't have any elbows, okay? So I want nice soft hands on top of whatever you're using as your bar if you can, and your elbows facing down. I'm starting in plie. I'm sorry, no I'm not. I'm starting in parallel. This one we would do with 2 skates on. So I'm right here and I'm going deep dummy plie in parallel. 1 and 2. I have not broken this line anywhere. I'm not here, I'm not here, okay? Tailbones facing down, 1 and a 2, straighten 3 and 4, push 2, rise 5 and 6 and down 7, 8. This is what's gonna happen, I guarantee it. 5 and 6. They're gonna try to find their toe kicks and they're gonna lean so far forward. We repeat that twice, 1 and 2, up 3 and 4, highest half point, 5 and 6, 7, down 8. Quicken that up, down 1, up on 2, rise 3, hold on 4, forced arch, ready? That means I keep my heels up. 5 and 6, don't break your line. 7, down 8, repeat. 1, up, 2, push, 3, hold, 4, down 5 and 6, up 7, 8. Then, coupe. You do that on 1 foot. My turn out. Boom. It's right there. I'm showing my thigh. That's not turned out, right? Reference that position. Go back to the floor if you have to. Do it once here. Switch your feet. Once here. And you're doing that quicker 8 count. So 1 and a 2, push 3 and 4, forced arch. Okay? Let's do that. This is not correct. I'm sorry. This is nice and long. You want to feel a good stretch in the back of the legs during this whole pattern. Here we go. Challenge that deep demi plie. 2. Stand up. 3. Find that alignment. 4. Push to rise. Keeping the leg straight. Squeeze. 7, down go. Tailbone down on the plie. And up, that's when you start to lose the tails. When you go faster, hold 4, tailbone down. 5, and a 6, stand up, 7, and 8. One more time on 2 feet, and up, squeeze, keep that tail facing down. Check your alignment to the bar. Do you still have elbows? Standing on one foot, plie, and up. Am I still facing my bar? Hold, highest half point. I'm turning my head to face you, but their head should be straight forward. Switch feet, 1, and up. Push, complete the push, hold it there. Now keep that heel really high. And 7, and 8, shake it out, good. Very nice. Okay, fantastic. Did anyone try that with their skates? If you did, just unmute and let me know. Nobody? It's challenging. Give it a try. When you're tying your skates for a skates on class 2, just remember that we are not on the ice. You don't need to tie them as tight. You're probably going to get a little tingly and lose that sensation and lose a little bit of the ankle bend. So go ahead and like back off with the tying when you do a skates on class, okay? Hopefully you felt that, and being able to sit in that deep demi-plie is so important. We use demi-plie on the ice all the time. We know that, right? That's your push. If you can't bend, you're not going to push. I haven't seen a lot of jumps that take off from a straight leg, right? We know that. We teach that all the way in the top class. 2-foot hop, bend those knees, hop up. But we lose it sometimes along the way. So that's a really good reminder that the more that they can stretch this posterior chain with those heels on the floor, you're in a better place. I know we all want to get here and do this like juicy grand plie, but that doesn't really help us as skaters that much. Being able to get to this demi-plie creates that push. And that's really what we're looking for, okay? And again, if you can't do it with nothing on your feet, it's going to be hard when we go ahead and put a lot of support there that we have to push through, okay? So those are the general reminders that I like to give them when it comes to why is plie important. That's the biggest one. Generally, it's that they want to jump and they want to be explosive. Okay, here's how you do it. So we're going to now take our boom, 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 little demi-ronde de jambe and our dégagé, and we're going to take it to our bar. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to use my left hand. This is my left. My left hand is on the bar right now, and I'm going to stand in my 5th position. If I was doing this with my skate on, I would have one straight leg, and I would have one bent, because my blade would be underneath me. So it would look a little like this. It does look a little funny, but it is important for them to feel this lift with their skate on and get that kind of training and that ability to push through the skate. So I'm right here. I like to start with my hands set on the bar. Don't have them like fumbling for it and then trying to figure out how far they should be. Set them up for success. You're looking at your elbow. It's set on the bar. You're ready to go. This arm can be in your preparation. 5 and a 6 and a 7, 8, or don't let them stand like this. Don't fight it. 8, just put it there, okay? Add this when they're ready. When they're fully ready. I'm here. Lift my leg. 1, flex hard on 2. Turn it parallel. 3. Do you see the similarities? And a plie. And a side. Stand tall, lower the So I just did 1 8 count. I went from front to side and I incorporated elongating the leg, flexing, turning in, turning out, all those things that we saw on the floor. Now I go from side to back. Side 1, flex on 2. They're gonna do this. Pull them up. Parallel 3. They're gonna do this. Push it down. Turn out 4. And 5. Deep dummy plie over that supporting side. 6. Get to the back. Feel the butt work. 7. Tap your toe on 8. Make sure that it doesn't turn into this. Okay. Get them there. Get them aligned. You know you are directly to the back when you feel that muscle working. The more you move to the side, it disengages. Okay. So I like to, again, remind them that's a good place where if they need to feel for that, they can. Touch your butt, no one else's. That's the rule. Okay. And we're here. 1, I'm going to turn sideways so you can see it. 1, flex hard. 2, turn it parallel. This is so hard for them. And out. Turn. Plie. Move it to the side. It looks like this. Keep going to the side until your knee's facing the ceiling. And rest. Last 8. 1, flex 2, 3, 4. Plie. Move to the front. 7 and 8. Let's give it a try. We'll talk about what it teaches in just a second. Okay. I'm going to go for reverence. Okay. And arm where it needs to be. Flex hard. Turn it parallel. Turn it out. Talk about isolation. One thing is moving at a time. Move. Stand tall. Rest your leg. Do not shift. Lift. Flex hard. Keep the hip in line here. Plie. All the way to the back. 7. Rest on 8. I'm going to turn so you can see me. Lift. Flex hard. Straightening the leg. Parallel. Use the hamstring and turn out. Plie. Move it to the side. Stand up tall. Tap that toe. Last one. Be strong here. Lift through here. Flex hard. Parallel. Hip under you. Turn out. Plie. Grow taller on the plie. Lead with the heel to the front. Down. Bring it in. Finish. We did it. Okay. Checking my time. Okay, let's talk points of emphasis here. So, reminding them that they're just putting things together that they already know. Okay? They know what dégagé. They know what turn in feels like. They know what turn out feels like. You're isolating one thing at a time here. Okay? Keep reminding them of that. We all of a sudden get like 18 body parts moving. Take them back to the floor. We didn't do that on the floor, did we? We didn't lean over to the side like that. Okay? So make those connections for them. Number 2, talking about what you should be seeing in each part of the pattern. So when you're going to the front, I talk to them a lot about what they should physically see on their foot, okay? I'm really lucky I have these nice tattoos on the inside of my feet. So I talk to them and I say, I should be able to see my point shoes, right? I should be able to see my skate, right? Okay. If I can't see my point shoes, I'm not turned out to the front. I'm not at the correct trajectory. Boom. Now I talk about my knee. Where's my knee facing? Should it be facing the ceiling? If it's facing my bar partner, I'm in trouble, right? I haven't turned my hip the right way. Boom. I talk about where my heel should be. I'm connecting my heel to my opposite shoulder. I'm in line with my middle. I'm in line with my spine. And then coming from back to side, I gotta take and use all of that clock. It doesn't go to 3 o'clock, it goes past 3 o'clock. Unless this is your turnout, which is not mine, right? I'm not at 180 degrees, boom. I'm at like a 2, just a little over 2. If this is your turnout, you're at a 1, that's fine, but get there. Okay, so talking about trajectory there is a good first thing to do with them, okay? Now, would you rather, let me give you a would you rather question, but it won't be one of those like hard ones where there's no good answer. Would you rather, with the music, turn around, do the other side, so you're not like, oh my gosh, only my one quad hurts? Or would you rather do the next pattern on the other side so that you get a little more exposure, another pattern? I think first answer wins.
I vote for the same pattern, but on the other side.
Perfect. Okay, let's go quick. And then we're gonna do the other pattern anyway. We're gonna do the other pattern anyway. No worries. I'm going to turn you and put you guys over here. I'm sorry. I know this is like kind of jarring, but like I'm trying to find a good way for you to be able to see all these different angles. Oh, where's my needle? Here we go. So now I gave you like all the things that we should be thinking about. So this second slide should be pretty darn good. Arm connected to my hip. Here we go. 1. Flex hard. 2. Show me toes to the sky. Show me toes turned out. Plie. And out. Stand tall. Lower the leg. Every time I plie, I'm getting taller actually. Flex. Parallel. Turn out. Plie, but I'm growing taller. I'm not gonna give into that sink. I'm not gonna turn this time. I'm gonna go. 1. Flex hard. 2. Keep that chest closed. Ribs are not coming apart. I'm all the way to my point on the clock. There's my tonu to the side. 1. Lift. 2. Keep the leg low in the skates. Correct them if they're tipping over to the side. Lead with the heel to get to the front. Tall, down, in, finish. Great job. Okay. Great. I forgot to mention about my plie. Thank you, someone, for saying we should do the second side. When I talk about plie, I talk about 2-directional plie. So even though your lower body, right, you're trying to sink as low as you can on that deep going plie, you need to think about from your ribs, your diaphragm, your laterals, everything up here, lifting and elongating so that you don't look like you're giving in to the plie. Yeah, those muscles are developed on the floor with the 90-degree position, okay? You develop it here, then you stand it up. And at the bar, then you ask them to do this the whole time. So I call it with my older kiddos, 2-directional plie. With my little kiddos, pulling taffy. You have to pull taffy on the plie. And then they go, what's that? And then they look it up and they're like, oh, cool, candy. And then they probably aren't thinking about the plie anymore. But it's kind of funny and they will remember it, okay? So pulling taffy in the middle for the little guys. Making sense? Great. That was what I was gonna say. I don't know if you're noticing this with your kiddos right now, or if it's just me. I'm getting so much of this pelvic tilt. And then these ribs are open. Okay, I don't know if this is like how they stand now and like pose for pictures or like what is going on here, but like we have to get to this. Okay, because if you're here, number one, structurally, think about how much weight is now being dumped into this lower back. This isn't good, long run. So we gotta get it to here. But think, if my hips are back, my ribs are now open, okay? So you cannot engage your core from here. It's impossible. It doesn't matter, strong or not, you can't do it. So you've gotta push it in. And I like to talk about the abs having two sides, right? Like we know this, we can see them on well-defined people that we have two sides. They have to stay together, okay? Your ribs are buddies, your abs are buddies. They're not buddies when you stand like this. Okay, rib buddies, they gotta stay in. They just gotta. Here we go. We're gonna do that other pattern anyway. We are going. I like to do this with two hands, forward or back. I think I'm gonna demo it for you here because it's gonna make a little bit more sense, okay? I'm going. Again, take that arm away if you have to. 5 and 6, 7, 8. Or you're holding on to the bar. If you're doing two hands, you're gonna actually start backwards. So my bar would be behind me. I have retiré 1. You did this on the floor. Guess what? Now you're gonna go past parallel. You're gonna turn it in. 2 and 3. Attitude on 4. What moved to go into my attitude? Oh, you can't answer me. The answer is my lower leg. Did I do this? Nope. And get all out of alignment? No, we're not worried about that right now. Okay. I have 1 and 2 and 3. Lower leg on 4 and 5. Flex hard 6. Point on 7. Down and in on 8. 1 and 2. Go to the front and yes, go to the front. Your back's to the bar. 4 and 5. Flex hard 6. Point hard 7 and 8. You were like this. And I was moving this leg. 8. It's going to become your back leg. You're going to redo the side. Oh, 1 and 2 and 3. I'll give you this angle now. And 5. Flex hard 6. Point hard 7. Down 8. Only place we have left to go is the back. Oh, 1. Just watch so you don't like smash your knee here. 2. Sometimes on bars with that lower bar, you have to be careful with that too. 3 and 4. Stretch on 5. Down. I'm sorry. Flex. Point. Down. And in. To finish. Okay. So again, we're taking these concepts that we saw on the floor. We're showing them now how it translates to a straight leg and an aligned straight leg. You make this extension happen by unfolding lower leg and full extension, okay? If this is as high as you can get on your retiré, there's your attitude extension, okay? But if this is your retiré, there's no way that this should be what you're giving me on an extension. Yes, we can do all those super cool lyrical modern positions once we learn how to be strong enough to do them, because those are really hard. We gotta learn the rules before we can break them, right? I am going for, as I'm cramping, water walking is crazy. This one I saved on my drive for some reason, but I really like this piece of music for it, so bear with me. There it is. So your turn with your back to the bar. I'm gonna turn to face you. Retiré. 1 and 2. 3. Attitude. 5. Flex hard 6 and 7 in 8 to the front. 1 1. In. Out. Side. Stretch. Flex. Point and close to the back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stretch. Flex. Point and down and in. Finish. Good. Very nice. Let's go right away to the second side so we're all even. Here we go. You have opening the knee on the front seat right. Show me the opposition. Attitude. Stretch. Show me how you flex using the whole leg. Close front. And 1, 2, 3. Lower leg. Attitude. Full stretch and flex and a point, and now you turn. My foot's behind me. 1. Remember, lifting off the back of the leg. Stretch, flex hard. Point and a nose. Keep the ankle away. Turn. Turn. Attitude. Stretch. Flex. Point to finish. Very nice. Okay. I love that. Okay. Happy about that one. Let's talk about it a little bit. It's getting really dark in here. The sun went down, or almost. There we go. Let there be light. That one reinforces that turnout, right? And bringing it all the way beyond parallel to that turned in position is hopefully gonna, again, help them feel where they need to be in that turnout. It is easier to keep the legs straight when you flex. Flexion automatically helps you engage your quads to pull up your knees. So that's why at that very last part of the pattern on that 6 and 7, when we start to see the floppy knees, it reminds them to use the knees to keep the legs straight, then they rest. Okay? So again, just explaining those things, like why is flexion easier? It helps you use your quad. All right. What would you like to do? I have so many would you rathers today. Core exercise, or sticking with the theme of the rond de jambe. I feel like we did a lot of rond de jambes. Core, first answer wins. Let's go. We're gonna do some core. Since we were just talking about how we need to have 2 sides for AF. This is core mixed with like an A-POM though, so it's not just like, let's get on the floor and do some sit-ups, right? I don't think anyone like lives for those. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe you do. But let's make this a little fun, okay? And let's make this a little more applicable to what they need. So I am going right here. And all I'm gonna do is draw my knees together and I'm laying on my back. So this is my starting position. But again, remember, we're seeing so much, I'm gonna lift my arms, so much of this recently. So my ribs are open, my pelvis is back right now. Do you see how much space there is between my lower back and the floor? Too much space, right? I need to be in my neutral pelvis. My sleeping position, okay? I'm not trying to put my lower back on the floor. I'm just where my pelvis should find itself, okay? Neutral spine, right here. You're going to use these arms, so they're not staying here for long. On your 7, 8, you're gonna pick your leg. I don't care, you're doing both, so just pick one. My arms are coming up on my 1 into a first position parallel to this leg. Up, I'm gonna move back so you can see me. Up on 1. Okay, parallel. 2 to the third. 3, twisted second position. 4 and 5 and 6, down on 7. Allongé. Elongate upper chest lift. 8. You repeat that a second time. You're going to twist away from your leg first. So just watch my arms quickly. Up on 1. This is my first position. 2. I twist my second position. So this is my second. I'm twisted. 3 and 4. Twist 5 and 6. Go 7 and 8 to float back down to the floor. Okay. Then I do it twice with my opposite leg lifted. This is what they're going to do. Okay, and use their hands and push down on this leg. No. 1. Okay, we're using that sit up. 1. Okay, we're using functional movements here. Getting up off the floor is a functional movement. It's not a fitness movement. It's a life skill. Here we go. I pick something not so slow, so you don't want to, you know, be so angry with me for 18 minutes of core burning. I'm gonna reuse this from earlier, but I think it's a good cadence for it. 7 and 8. Here we go. Up first and to third. Twist your second position. Back to the middle. Twist. Keep that chest lifting, please. And 7 and 8. Again. Up and up. Now twist away from your leg. Remember, we work that position all the time. Keep your head moving as well. 7 and 8. Switch your legs. Up. Up. Twist towards your leg. Middle. Twist away from your leg. Middle. 7 and lift your chest, please. Last one. Here we go. 1, 2. Away from your leg. Can you point your toes and straighten your leg even more? 5 and 6 and 7. Last upper chest lift. Down. Always shaking. Good. Roll it over. Take a second. Give your core some love. Yeah, ow, me too. Me too. I'm also feeling that. Good. I like that we like it. Oh. I'm right here. I'm going as high in this cobra as your lower back allows. Stretching out the front of that core. I need to see this really quick. There's a lot of chats happening. Core, great, okay. Yeah, doing this with skates on is really, really rough, guys. Like, so don't feel like you have to progress right away. Like, go ahead and take it easy, okay? Do I have exercises for them if they can't get up without cheating it? Yes and no. Yeah, it's literally cray with skates. Yes and no. I do a lot of core strength just functionally to begin with. Like, I think they really need to know how to plank. So just really quick, how I teach planks in the middle school to my students that are not athletes and have no interest in being athletes, and to my highest level athletes. I also coach wrestling, so it's kind of funny because I talk a lot about functional fitness because I think that fitness applies to everything. My skaters also work out with my partner, who is an MMA trainer. So fitness is really applicable across a lot of disciplines. because the concepts are the same, right? We actually use the same principles in weightlifting, in wrestling, that we do in skating and ballet. It all comes from structure. It all comes from alignment. So if they really are struggling to do these things in motion, you got to take it back to stationary. So in my plank, when I teach a plank, first I teach all fours, and they're going to do this. And you know what I'm going to say about this, right? Like, we have to lift our belly, and we have to get into an even tabletop position. This is my shirt hanging down. I swear that I am in a good tabletop. I promise. Go here. Boom. Okay. So I'm right there in my tabletop. I'm cueing them to look out in between their hands to make this triangle. You can even like put stuff on the floor. Don't be afraid to give them visuals. Put handprints on the floor. Put footprints where you want them to stand. Okay. I use poly spots in almost every single one of my little guy classes. If you don't know what those are, they're the little like colored dots that we use in school. Like, sit down there, sit down there, sit down there. I do that all the time. Like, I want your feet in first position. Your feet should be touching. Second position, they're not. Third position is crossed to here. Fifth is there. I give them those visuals. So right here in my plank, all I talk about is one leg at a time. So I dig my toes. Okay. And I'll practice that quite a bit until they can get that lower back aligned and keep weight in their elbows. I hyperextend my elbows quite a bit. I just can't help it. It is just how I'm put together. And at this point, I am really working on it for my joint health, but remind them, or at least when you're demonstrating, right, to children, make sure you're doing it correctly, because they will overcorrect. So I would really be focused on my elbows right now. I talk about shoulder to elbow to wrist. I dig my toe. When they can do that proficiently, we work on digging our other toe. And we work on this plank. See, my elbows hyperextended already. I would say that to them. My elbows are not doing what I want them to do, so I'm going to work on bringing them back under me. I would work on this until it's really, really good. And when they can do that, then you can start adding some movement to your positions, okay? And yes, we can't wait for forever. We also are running businesses here as coaches. We can't wait until everything is perfect to move on, but make sure it's good enough that you can do the next thing safely. As much as I hate saying that, I wish we could sit and sit and sit until we see perfection, but it's just not doable, right? So that's how I break down planks. I think they're really fun. Most of my kiddos can plank really well because I make it a challenge for them. Make these things fun, y'all. Like, doing core is not fun, but at least like incorporating some kind of arms is fun. If you are not teaching in like a strict ballet setting, like, go ahead and feel free to mix up your music, like make it exciting for them. I'm at 10 minutes. So the last thing I just want to show quickly, because I think that we should address the other half of our core, is back extensions. I'll just talk through this. We won't do it as a pattern, but when I do back extensions, I think it's really easy for them to get a partner and have the partner hold their legs. And there's like a lot of value to that, right? And like, work on getting up as high as we can and holding it, right? We do that. That's fantastic. And if you're doing any of that partner work, just cue them like where you want them holding and where you don't, like we're not pressing on the back of the knees. I do partner back extensions with a pama as well. So I do it in second position, I do it in third, and I do it with my port de bras there. But I'm going to talk about solo back extension right now, because I don't want so much of my posterior chain big muscles taking over. Posterior chain big muscles are your hamstrings and your glutes. I want to target my lower back for the moment. So what I'm going to do is not concentrate on coming up as far. So I go palms to the floor to start. I bring my fingers to the front of my shoulders. I bring my shoulder blades together. I'm going to lift my chest up until I feel my glutes working. So again, you might have to have them do this actually with that physical cue. Remind them, touch your butt, no one else's. I'm right here and I'm coming up only as far as I can without my glutes and my legs taking over. Okay, So you have to practice that a little bit to get that feeling. So fingers to the front of the shoulders, shoulder blades together. We'll just feel it once all together. Right here, lift the chest up. I should be working my lower back. So lift my chest up and elongate. I'm looking out, lifting up. See, it's not a big lift. I'm holding and I'm down, okay? And that's realistically those lower back muscles that you need to build and that arch in the back that you need to build for camel spins, okay? We wouldn't be lifting super, super high for something like that, if that makes sense. So, Kate, can I bother you again to like unspotlight so that I can see everybody so we can just like kind of chat to close this out here?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. I would love it if I'm gonna go to this view. Perfect. I would love it if you guys have questions or like things that you're still interested in, like follow-ups to any of those. Like, let's just open it up for a little conversation before we go. No questions? Are we just exhausted? And obviously, if anything like ever comes up or like you start trying any of these things and it doesn't work, or you are more curious about that, please, 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 like feel free to shoot me an email or find me on Instagram. That's a good question. I don't think there's like things in ballet that are like bad for skating. I just think that a lot of things are a little misunderstood, right? So like the concept that like pirouettes are like spins, right? Are they? No, they're not. They're like jumps. Okay. So like you're getting into one position and you're trying to find a rotational point and you're turning underneath it, right? Doesn't that sound like a jump to you? Right. So like, I don't think there's things that are bad. And I think any kind of cross training is good. Obviously, like I have my kids work out at an MMA gym, but like the finding things that are going to directly help them today, not like if you keep coming to my ballet class, like maybe next year you'll be doing really good fouettes. Like I don't have till next year to like commit to this project. I want to see some results, right? And we live in a result oriented society. And I'm not saying any of these things are easy, but you're going to see some really good, at least muscular strength and endurance results that's going to help you on the ice right now. How do I maintain my posture when I'm doing my crossovers? That 90-degree position. Working that 90-degree position and thinking about it all day is going to help. Then also crossovers are a rotational thing. So any of those things where we worked on turning our heads to the right and the left and adding the épaulement where we bring one shoulder in front is going to really help posture on crossovers specifically. I do not go to New York for in-person classes. Maybe in the future, I would definitely obviously let Kate know if I am traveling for things like that. But at the minute, I'm not. Spotting has made it hard for skating. Yes. Spotting is very hard. I know there are some jump technicians that do teach with a spot. I was not one of them. I don't know how to take it out. That's something that I think someone more on the jump tech side would have to address. But yes, spotting is definitely really hard. They are two things that are learned very different. What kind of ballet practice plans do I give to new skaters? I don't really give out written things. And I know that that might sound like a little highbrow, right? And like, I don't want my work out there or whatever, but it's just like, I think for newer people, it's very hard to translate and get what you would get from a feeling on a paper. So I think for especially my newer ones, I just encourage more in-person practice. And I almost am much better with like this, where we do a recording so that there's some visual cues and there's some auditory cues. I do a lot when I'm teaching my own skaters I do video notes for them. I don't do written notes. So I make them bring their phone and I record them doing their practice, especially for moves in the field or program runs. And I talk onto the phone so that they can then take that home with them and they can see and hear the corrections in real time. And it's just another way that I can torture small children. They have to listen to me in their free time.
Did you already answer the how do I maintain my posture when I'm doing my crossover? Okay.
Yeah, we got that one.
And
Exercise
there's
for,
one more, I think.
yes, exercise for hip drop. Wait, I lost it. Chelsea, where are you at?
Do you have any exercises for someone with a hip drop problem or a challenge in hip dropping?
Yes, all of those reti rays for completing the push and getting the glute hamstring complex to work on the supporting side is going to really help the hips stay even. So I would say do more. And Chelsea, I do have a series of those. There are additional ones. So if you wanted to connect on that, I could show you some others. How often should we be doing ballet practice? It can be hard to fit. Yes, it is hard to fit with practice. I really am a huge fan of like twice a week. I just think once is very, very hard to remember after 6 days. So twice a week seems like a really good time to like circle back. And then the way I teach at least too, I like to redo the same lesson twice so that you get to see it twice. So I would say, I don't know, 2 days a week is something that hopefully is doable. But again, I just think in whatever capacity you're able, do it. Do it. I know schedules are super fun. Thank you, Atticus, so much. And Chelsea, yes, let's connect for sure. I'm going to put my Instagram handle down here.
I can also add it to the follow-up email, and Angela was CC'd. Her email is CC'd on the original email, and I'll CC it on the follow-up. So everyone will have her email address.
My email, my Insta.
Thank you so much, Angela. This was a great class. We so appreciate your expertise.
Yes.
Really appreciate you taking the time to share with us. Everyone, thank you for being here. We hope to see you at Elan's Sock Flow at the end of the month. And just a reminder for those of you who popped in late that today was our first open early bird registration for the Skate Away, which is September 19th through 21st outside of DC. And by the way, I already have 15 registered and I just opened it today. So we do, we cap it at 70. So after 70, we cannot have any more. So please, if you are going to come, sign up early, and we really hope to see you guys. It's going to be a great weekend. Hope to see you guys at the end of July with Elan. Thank you for being here, everyone.
Bye, guys.